Hello sir, I am Francess B Almocera and we are here to explain the multi-form Java Swing application that will demonstrate a Crud application for student personal information. The following are the specific requirements. The main form will display the separate buttons for logging in, adding a new record, updating a record, deleting a record, and exiting the system. The main frame will always show a JTable somewhere in the main frame since the main frame will be maximized upon running. For the records being added, updated, and deleted in every operation being performed. Every operation being performed corresponds to a separate frame that will appear whenever the user clicks the button displayed in the main frame. In the program code, we use an array name table column for the column of the JTable. The default closing operation of the main frame is do nothing on close because if the user accidentally clicked the close above the frame, all the operation will be closed. So if the user wanted to exit the program, they must select the bottom exit. On the table Student Info, we added a mouse click event handler to display or highlight the selected row of the user whenever they want to update or delete a specific row easily. On the Login button, we added an action listener and we also use these codes for showing the frame login. On the Add button, we added an action listener and we use these codes for showing the frame for add operation. Also, we use to set the text of the LBL ID so that the add form will show auto-generated ID of the student in add form. On the Update button, we added an action listener and we use these codes for informing the user to select a date for showing the update form and updating the data. On the Delete button, we also added an action listener and we use these codes for informing the user to select a data before showing the delete form and deleting an existing data. For Exit button, we use these codes for showing the exit form and for showing information to the user. To log in, to add, to update, to delete, and to exit.
My name is Aicie Caacoy and I will explain the login frame. Upon running the main frame, the user must log in their account first by clicking the button Login. The login frame will appear and the user must enter the default username and password admin. The user can toggle the checkbox to show and hide the password. Then we'll have to click the login button to be authorized. On the source code of the login frame, the default username and password must be the word admin. We added a mouse key pressed event handler to perform an error message if the user tried to input numbers on the text field and on the password field. We used an if-else statement with the set echocar method to make the password toggle shown and hide. On this side, we used the isBlank method to perform a message if the user did not fill all the fields first before logging in. We used the matches method for the username and password to recognize if the entered username and password by the user would match the default username and password of the program. If not, then a message dialog will appear on the screen to show the user that they entered the wrong username and password. Once the user did the proper way of logging in, a message dialog will also appear to show that the account have been authorized and the login frame will be disposed. The button add will be enabled while the buttons login, update, and delete will be disabled.
If you click add button, input information will appear. Then, if you click save button, the information that you insert will show on JTable. And if you did complete the information, it will appears that input information is incomplete. And if you click cancel, the information that you put cannot be saved and it will go on JTable.
Hi, I'm Nemar de los Santos and I'll show you the progress of frame add on how this functions. We set a public static void add row and we set a date chooser which will serve a J calendar to get the date chooser. Date DOB equals date chooser that get date. To put the rows or inputs, we add row data from 0 to 7 to be applied to the following object names, including row datas: T double positive, text plus name that get text, text first name that get text, text middle name that get text, date that format, age, CBO college that get selected item, and CBO course that get selected item. To get the date, we set local date equals .dob to instant that at zone IDs that system default, that to local date that get year, date that get month, date that get day of month, local date to day equals local date that now, then integer age equals period that between open to day, date, and close parenthesis get years. If the age is less than 0, equals age times -1. And once we get the text and get selected the item, we proceed to the set the text, which is the set text and selected index.
Good day, I am Clare Delfinado and will be explain the functionalities program in update button and how the flow will happen in the update form. First, when the user click the update button, the J option pane will appear saying select a specific row first. After the user click the OK, the update student form will appear and the user can already edit the information to update. Example, I'll change the last name and first name and click the update button in the update student form. After that, the message will appear saying selected row has been updated. That means the user successfully updated the data in selected row. So here's the program code. We use the public static string to set a default items in the checkbox of college. Under it, we put public static default combo box model object. We make it object to fix because the model is not a string and the variable for this is model college. In the CBO college, we put the item listener as a event handler and we add object and the variable of the model inside the parentheses, which model college, after the J combo box. We only use one default combo box model because we just connect the item in college and inside of every items there has another items which the course. Next line of code is we use the if, else if, and else method. First is the if. We use that get selected index in CBO college and equals 0. The 0 means the first item in the default model college. When the user select it, which the CEAS, the choices in combo box course will print the items BSEED, BSSED, and BSPSI. Next is else if. Same process in if and equals 1. And the index 1 in default model college is CBAA. And again, when the user select it, the choices in combo box course will print the items BSA and BSBA. Next is else if. Same process in if and equals 2. This time, the index 2 in default model college is CCE. And again, when the user select it, the choices in combo box course will print the items BSCS, BSCPE, BSECE, BSIE, and BSIT. And lastly, is the else. Sync process to the first three, but this time, since this is the last, no need to put the get selected item, and the last item in default model college is CON. And when the user select this, the choices in combo box course will print the item BSN. And now, Jimmuel A Rodriguez will continue to explain the next code in update. Thank you.
Good everyone, I'm Jimmuel A Rodriguez. Will explain the functionality program in update button. And in the update button program, code is used to update the information in the JTable. So, with the put action listener as a event handler, and also if first is the date chooser, we use the method get date, and it automatically get the age. Next is the first. If we use the get selection draw in the frame name, TBL student info to count and update the row in JTable. We use get text is the blank method in the second if when the user forgot or did not enter text or leave. The JText blank in the J option pane will appear saying please complete the form details warning message. For else, the selected row will be updated in the JText field. We can use set value at last name get text select row method to get the text in the text field, and also we can use set value at college get select to get the selected item in combo box and put all in the JTable. For the date chooser, we can use set value format JDate chooser, date chooser, get date, and locate that we have method or for getting the year, month, and day of month to get the date and age. We also put the clear selection and method to clear and exit the form, and the last J option pane show message dialog to show the message selected row has been updated to inform the user that the selected row is successfully updated. Last, for the cancel button, we add the action listener as an event handler, the false, the set visible enable, and the clear JTable, which is the TBL student info by using the method set enable true and clear selection. That is for the update button.
After adding or updating a student information inside the JTable, there will be a displayed record on it. When the user clicks the delete button, the program will show an information to select a specific record that the user wants to delete. The delete student form should be like this, same as the form in the update student form. After showing the delete student form, the user is applicable to click the wanted record to delete, and the selected record will shown in the delete student form, and it is not editable because the user will only delete the selected record. When the user click the delete button inside the form, it will show a confirmation message where the program will ask or confirm the user if the user is sure to delete the selected row, and if the user click the yes, the selected row will permanently and automatically deleted.
I'm Elaiza Ablaña from 1ITC. I explain the process of frame delete. In this code, it is the same technique as frame update. We set an action listener on the button delete in frame delete. If the frame name, which is the TBL student info that gets selected row, is greater than 0, the result will show a J option pin that show confirm dialog with the question, "Are you sure you want to delete the selected row?" If he or she click yes, We set or input an integer selected row equals frame main.tbl student info that gets selected row, and it will show or display the selected row or selected information in frame delete. This code displays the delete button's progress.
Good day, I am Earl Buñag and I am here to discuss to you how the frame exit works. First, we must secure that frame exit is recognizable in the frame main. To do that, we must declare a private class at the top of the frame main. It will be keyed in as private frame exit frm exit. Now that the frame exit is recognizable inside the frame main, we must place an event handler action listener to the btn exit to call an event every time the user clicks the btn exit. Every time the user will select the btn exit, the child frame exit frame will be called. The frame exit does not have a main method because it was supposed not to run on its own. The frame exit set default close operation is set to that dispose on close to terminate only the frame exit every time the user clicks the X button on the frame. The frame has only two main buttons, the btn yes and the btn no. In btn yes, we have an event handler action listener that will show a message dialog. Thank you for using our application. Then will terminated if selected. While in the other hand, if the btn no is selected, the frame will only be disposed.